This is the Man of Steel statue. It was installed in 1976. I've read that they're going to do a little cleaning up, fixing it up a little bit pretty soon here. There's this nice wetland right in the middle of the park. So I don't know if this is original. I would assume, right? Because you've got the dune swale. So I would assume that the parts in between the dunes would have been wet. But who knows if that's original or not. But nice feature. Bit of litter around it. Yeah, it's a cool park. This is probably one of my favorite urban parks. You've got a lot of open space for kids of all ages to play. And then around the edges, you've got these really cool late 19th century, early 20th century architecture. Feels very much off in the distance. And then these little rises in the land. I doubt they're more than 3 or 4 feet at the highest. So you do get a little bit of an invocation of what this land would have looked like before it was all developed. Well, I'm not actually up here to play in the park today. I'm gonna get on these trails and walk around some of the remnants of the high Tolleston shoreline out in central Hammond. But before that, I'd like you to hear from some of my friends out here real quick. All right, hey, it's my friend Ian here, and he's with a group called, is it Books, Brushes, and Bands for Education?
Books, Brushes, and Bands for Education.
I got it correctly. But yeah, you got some stuff going on too.
Yeah, we are super excited. Coming up in March 2nd, we're going to have a free community event at the Hammond Public Library right on State Street. There will be the mascot from Railcats, there will be free reading, there will be some art activities, story hours from 1 to 4 p.m. So come out, talk about books, talk about what you're reading right now. Our choir students will be there as well, the Midwest Youth Choir. So you can find more information on BBB4E on Facebook or on our website, bbb4e.org. And we're super excited for Readapalooza. Get kids excited about reading, get adults excited about reading. There's a lot going on out there.
Yeah, and it'll be indoors where it won't be cold and windy like it is right now.
Correct,
so,
inside the library.
You're going to want to go inside. I'm going to keep moving here since it's so cold. All right, cool, man. Good to see you.
Good to see you as well.
All right. I did a poetry writing event with them last year over at Gibson Woods in Hess. Yeah, it was a great event, family event out in the beautiful dune and swale. And we did a bilingual poetry exquisite corpse as well, which was really cool. Not stuff I get to do every day. I'm very grateful to know them and that they involved me in their thing. So please check them out. You know, I'd mentioned in a previous short, you could tell where the old beach lines are because the old cemeteries are located along these quite often. And in Hammond, that is definitely the case. So we're on the Erie-Lackawanna Trail. This is the northern segment of it. I mean, I could take this all the way down to Crown Point, but today I just want to stick around the central Hammond area. Not a whole lot of nature on this trail, but you get these little pockets, you get these little hedgerows. Yeah, but I think these urban vistas are pretty cool. You can take the Monon Trail, the Erie-Lackawanna, and the Little Calumet Trail, about 12.5 miles. And if you want to go up a bit and see the Grand Cal, maybe add another 1.5 miles, 2 miles to that, but it would take you from the Grand Cal all the way down to the Little Cal. The other cool thing about this trail is you get elevated views. So rare out here. That's the region, folks, in all of its glory. Right, so back to these cemeteries and old shorelines. This is the high Tolleston shore here. And I think it's best not to think of it as a single shoreline, but a series of shorelines that were formed over 1,000 years. Rough estimates between 4,700 years ago to 3,600 years ago. And what would happen is, you know, a beach would form, the lake would recede, a beach would form on the new land, the lake would recede, a new beach would form. Sometimes the lake would grow and that would wash out old beaches and the process would repeat. And gradually over this millennia, the shoreline receded. And we have this unique feature, dune and swale. And down here, as I've said before, it's like corduroy when you look at it from above. It's almost straight lines. There are no straight lines in nature. And there aren't here, but it's pretty close. In fact, it's right around here in central Hammond that it does start curving more towards the northwest. So if we look at a map, these cemeteries, and we'll go over the border here, we'll start over in Illinois. And from west to east, you've got Holy Cross, big one there, right adjacent to some Cook County Forest Preserve property. across the state line, we've got Oak Hill, Concordia. Then as we move east, we've got a bunch of cemeteries here: St. John, St. Joseph, Jewish Cemetery. And in all of these, you can see remnants of that small dune. Well, the swales are mostly gone, but small rise in the land, followed by another, maybe no more than a few feet high. All right, there's the westernmost cemeteries there. What does that say? Elmwood, you got St. John, St. Joseph, the Jewish Cemetery, a few others. So I don't think we're gonna go in that way. We'll just sort of skirt the edge, but we'll go check out a couple other older small cemeteries as we make our way back. The rise and the fall in the land's pretty subtle here, but it almost looks like the streets were once the swales, and then the rows of where the stones are the slightly higher parts. That would be my guess as to what's happened here. Plenty of evidence of Hammond's Germanic roots here too. Anyway, nice little cemetery. We're gonna press on. Well, the earliest history of Hammond from 1884 talks about how this area was a heavily timbered forest before it was all chopped and developed. And we can see some of these remnants in these cemeteries here. All right, here's an old landmark. This used to be the Unique Thrift Store. So every hipster in the region, as before we were hipsters, of course, before such a thing even existed, that's where you went to dress hip and cheap and funky. I got some great stuff there. My favorite, I had this olive green long sleeve, wide lapelled shirt. Wore that thing till it fell apart. It's a beauty supply store now. All right, we are back to the Monon Trail, except you can't access it as a pedestrian or a bicyclist from 165th. So I'm just walking down about a block, and we'll catch it before it goes elevated. Well, what's really nice about this elevated view, when you look north from 165th, you can see each successive little beach ridge there. Really cool. And then you kind of get the grand view, what was, what is, and our road right down the middle. You can also see industry kicking out the jams over there. Well, it really is something how this West Lake extension of the South Shore train has just changed the cityscape here in the region. I mean, it looks urban as hell out here. Also, I can't tell if this trail is open or not up ahead. There's just work happening everywhere in this part of Hammond. Homan Avenue, I think Harrison. There are trucks out, a lot of intersections are blocked off, and I've heard a lot of people grumbling about this project. I'll just say that. I have no comment on it other than it really does make things look even more urbane out here. Besides, you're gonna love it when your property values go up. And in the end, that's what really matters, right? Great mix of new and shiny and old and rusty too. I mean, for somebody at my age, seeing, new urbane developments in the region it's, I don't want to say shocking, but it's different. It's not something that was going on when I was a kid or even a young adult. All right, good walk. About 5 miles right through the heart of Hammond there. Good to have you with. I will see you again in another adventure in the Calumet Wilderness. Where will we go?